So I want to get some things straight. Logic. How do I look at logic? And the way I look at logic is this. Because you like a certain kind of music from a certain kind of culture, it's not going to get you out of a situation if you're in that culture by no choice of your own, surprisingly. Maybe because your car breaks down, or you're taking a bus through it and the bus breaks down, and the next bus isn't for another hour and a half. Okay? In North St. Louis, a lot of these people, I could name some names. A lot of them have gaming channels. A lot of them have smoke cess channels. A lot of them are definitely not looking like they got any fucking muscle on their bones. And they would not be able to defend themselves in a situation from a culture they're not. They think they're accustomed to because they listen to the music, but in reality, if they were in those hoods, they would not be able to survive them. I mean, you'd be lucky to walk out of South Central, and you'd be lucky to walk out of North St. Louis, East St. Louis. You'd be lucky to walk out of Chicago, South Side. You'd be I don't know. There's good places nowadays in some of these what used to be bad neighborhoods because they tried to revive the cities by doing renovations, opening affordable housing and stuff, and sometimes what used to be a bad neighborhood is not so bad anymore. Things change over time, but in reality, North St. Louis is still a fucking, could be a very rough place, depending what part of North St. Louis, but most of the time, just north of the city of St. Louis, East St. Louis, it kind of got, basically East St. Louis in a lot of ways, not a lot of it, but like they put a Metrolink train through it years ago, and in the process over time, a lot of the dilapidated housing and burnt down houses, it was just a mess. We used to go down there and buy what is now referred to as wet, which is basically warehouse packed garbage weed they soaked in formaldehyde. I think that's what it is. Anyway, but we didn't know that. We just thought it was, no one knew it back then, especially the dumb suburban white kids like me. We just thought it was good weed, but no, it's fucking soaked in shit, But this is what I'm trying to say is, just because you like gangster rap, it's not going to put you in an advantage in a situation. In reality, a lot of these people that are white that listen to that stuff, and they like to act the act and shit, they would not know what to do if they were in that situation. All they could do is offer up, hey man, you don't need to rob me, I listen to this, that, and the other, I like your music. It wouldn't help them though, bro. And plus, chances are the dude who's trying to rob you, if he was trying to rob you, which isn't necessarily the case just because you're in those neighborhoods, but if he was, chances are he don't like that band anyway, or that rapper anyway. Because there's so many thugs out there, they got their personal like, and generally speaking, if you mention any other rapper, they're probably not going to jive with you, especially if you're white. Okay? I'm going to tell you right now, I grew up in a good neighborhood, not a bad neighborhood, but I ended up many times in poor neighborhoods. My parents, when they were moved to St. Louis, the North St. Louis area used to be white, and just like South Central, over time it became a black kind of hood. But nonetheless, they still belonged to a golf course up there. They joined a golf course up there because it was a reasonable rate and everything. But just to get up there to play at the golf course, we had to drive there, and in itself was a risk. Or they had to drive there. And I went with them a couple times. But I'll be honest with you, man. Depending on what part of North St. Louis you're talking about, trust me, you do not want to be stuck there if you're white. Especially if you don't got any muscle content and you're white and you don't know what the fuck you're doing when it comes to fight. because you won't have a fucking clue what hit you. All right? I mean, and that goes for LA too. I mean, I was in North Hollywood for a while, and just being around there and some of the areas around there can be kind of unreal. I mean, one time I had a limo driver, man, looked like he wanted to run me over, and he didn't know who I was. He was fucking high or something. He just fucking flipped out, and I don't know. I remember I just stood there like solid, like I wasn't gonna move, because he tried to scare me with the vehicle. And it's like he thought, haha, gosh, this guy doesn't even frighten. And that's exactly, what I don't do. I don't act frightened. Because you know what? In the wild, when you act frightened, that's when you get taken down. Right? But also, if you don't know how to defend yourself, even if you don't act frightened, you ain't going to be able to. You're going to get jumped. And if somebody pulls a fucking gun on you, trust me, bro, you won't be ready for it. If you're in a hood like that, you'll think that because you listen to that kind of music, you're going to be able to talk your way out of anything. And it's not going to work that way. They will shoot you fucking dead. Now, I'm not saying if you're in a bad neighborhood, that's going to happen, because I've had more or less experience going through them, and a lot of those bad neighborhoods in like North St. Louis and East St. Louis are absolutely kind of abandoned in a lot of ways. I mean, there's neighborhoods and stuff, but it depends on where you are, and there are buses that go through there and stuff, and oh man, I'll be honest with you, in East St. Louis, if you go through East St. Louis, it was worse back in the day, but I don't know, it's pretty bad nowadays too. It just depends. If you take a bus through some of those areas, those buses have to maneuver around potholes and stuff, because they don't have money to fix the roads. They don't have money to fix jack shit. And so I can't even believe they can keep buses running in so they keep them on the main roads. Most of the buses have to be kept on like main roads, and then I don't know, they must have a special crack team to, no pun intended, but to come fix the fucking potholes for the buses, because the city does not have the money to pay for them. So, and there's like one burnt house every 3 houses, burnt down house. So anyway, go figure, just get used to it, reality based. I'm not a badass, but I've been in situations where I had to at least try to figure out how am I going to get out of this situation. I dropped like a couple 6-packs of beer in East St. Louis years ago, cracked all over the ground, and there was about 14 of them people in there that was not of my persuasion, and guaranteed all of them looked at me like they wanted to rob me, kill me, whatever. But I just, the lady said, just take it as a loss and leave. Don't ask for your money back. I mean, she didn't say all that, but you could tell that's what she was thinking. And I took her psychic advice, and I just moseyed out of there as quick as possible. Not as quick as possible, but just enough to show that, I'm not going to worry about it, because it could cause some problems for me. So you just pay attention to stuff like that. But the bottom line is, because you listen to that kind of music, don't expect that you're going to get a free ride when you're in a situation in a neighborhood that is of a persuasion that doesn't match yours.